everybody, Matty here with Altcoin Buzz. Hope you're having a great one. Happy Tuesday. Hope you had a nice weekend and a long one for those that had Labor Day off. Today we're talking about Bitcoin buy pressure. According to one analyst, it is fairly intense these days. We'll let you know about that. However, as always, I take that with a grain of salt because, of course, this analyst has his own angle, has his own incentives to want to tell you that, yes, the pressure is intense, but we'll try to be objective there. We'll kind of look at the Altseason phenomenon right now and ask ourselves whether or not Bitcoin is in the picture. Do projects like Ethereum, Chainlink, and Polkadot have a future? Here on ambcrypto.com, the contention is very much that yes, they do. Courtesy of Charles Hoskinson and Cardano, we'll be talking about Gerolamo as competition to IBM's Fabric. We have some other updates from Cardano as well. Then we're discussing Plutus.it. Pluton, PLU, plans to apply for a banking license. And finally, we'll alert you guys to a project out of India called KoinFox. They are launching a DeFi initiative out of that country, India specifically. So a lot happening, guys, as always in this space. If you like this kind of content, Bitcoin, blockchain, and cryptocurrency, then be sure to like and subscribe. Okay, let's kick things off with a look at the markets today on CoinGecko.com. We're kind of going sideways. There's nothing too crazy to discuss. As you can see, the total market cap sits at $330.3 billion. That's down only 0.1% since yesterday. So like I said, kind of sideways. Projects are down slightly or up ever so slightly for the most part. Not all that exciting. Chainlink here down 5.1% in the last 24 hours, and Bitcoin SV, somewhat the mirror image of that, up 4.7%. The important observation is that Bitcoin still sits above 10K. That resistance, that support level has not broken. We're only down 0.3% in these last 24 hours. So Bitcoin is at $10,120 at the time of this recording, with the dominance of 56.6%. And when it comes to Bitcoin, according to at least one analyst, we're now seeing intense buy pressure at the $10,000 mark. So a new Bitcoin metric says that investors are still much more interested in buying than selling BTC at $10,000. On the 7th of September, so just yesterday, Ki-Young Zhu, founder of on-chain analytics resource CryptoQuant, unveiled his latest tool for tracking Bitcoin investor sentiment. So it is called the Potential Buy-Sell Pressure, and it's a tool that takes exchanges' total BTC reserves and divides them by stablecoin reserves, and the resulting number provides a rough impression of trader appetite, and it is currently skewed on the bullish side. Quote, BTC has intense buy pressure. Exchanges are holding more stablecoins and fewer Bitcoin compared to the beginning of this year, tweeted Key. So it's an interesting theory and a relatively simple one in effect. It's just that the less Bitcoin that there is currently stored on the exchanges and the more stable coins there are, and the more that is the ratio that's reflected, then it would suggest that people have an appetite to buy Bitcoin. But I think whether or not people are buying, people are more or less holding Bitcoin anyway, because as denoted by this last point here, at the same time, as Key confirms, exchanges Bitcoin's reserves continue to decrease, evidence of a continued desire among investors to save, not trade or spend Bitcoin. In other words, even if the reserves on the exchanges for Bitcoin happen to be low, that just could be because sort of everyday investors like us could be sitting on Bitcoin and not necessarily wanting to spend it. We're just saving it in effect. So it doesn't necessarily mean we're buying it. But look, guys, you have to have a wide variety of indicators in this space. This could be a new one. You can add it to your tool belt. It's a fairly simple formula here. As you can see, the potential buy-sell pressure equal the exchange BTC reserve divided by the exchange stablecoin reserve. And right now the ratio happens to be low, meaning there are more stablecoins on the exchanges than Bitcoin. At the end of the day, take it with a little bit of a grain of salt. Key, of course, runs CryptoQuant, runs a service, wants you to believe that we're in a bull market, that we're going to the moon imminently, and he's got an agenda. That's all. So I'll leave it at that. But let us know what you think about this new metric in the comments below, and whether or not you're bullish about Bitcoin at 10K. I would say I'm a little bit more reserved. I don't quite share this individual's enthusiasm just because we are at 10K. But there you have it. That's just my opinion. Let us know yours in the description, in the comments below. We're here now on ambcrypto.com talking about alts beyond Bitcoin. So Altseason or not, Ethereum, Chainlink, and Polkadot are here to stay. Okay, so to summarize the first part of this article, we're just kind of overviewing the hysteria that we've seen in the DeFi spaces recently and how, for quite a long time, there wasn't a whole lot happening. And then all of a sudden you had a lot of these projects that were just surging. And as a result of that, ultimately, you did see a decrease in Bitcoin's dominance. We've been tracking Bitcoin's dominance from really metrics in the 70s, so 70 or so percent, all the way down now to 60% and further down, even below 55%, as I've been noting in recent weeks. So, however, what's most interesting, as the article points out, is the fact that the resultant void left by Bitcoin has been rushed into and filled in by some of the crypto market's top altcoins, namely Ethereum, Chainlink, and Polkadot. Ethereum, for instance, was the biggest gainer over the time period highlighted above, with its market dominance climbing to almost 14%. For context, right now it sits at about 11.5%. Such a development has been contrary to previous instances where the vacant market share has been filled by a more distributed list of altcoins. That's a good point. And it's why many have called 2020 the year of disruptors, because it's not just Ethereum. Cryptos like Chainlink, Polkadot, and Crypto.com Coin have acted as 2020's disruptors, with their emergence reshuffling the traditional cryptocurrency ladder as we know it. Link, Dot, and CRO aren't the first alts to surge incredibly to great fanfare and value, and they won't be the last either. Now, this is admittedly a bit of an anecdotal example here, and we're getting a little bit too myopic because we're only looking at the trajectory over 1 month. So before we, you guys launch into any criticism of this example, that's kind of the disclaimer. I understand the limitations of what it is I'm showing here. However, that being said, this is the daily exchange volume on Binance, and as you can see, you have the ratio between altcoin volume and Bitcoin volume. And early on, it's very clear that Bitcoin took up a majority, a lion's share of that daily trading volume. It looks like at least about 2/3 of the volume was allocated to Bitcoin. So this is earlier on in August of 2020. And as the month progressed and as some of that enthusiasm behind so many of these alt projects swept the market and swept the space, you can see how really there's a takeover of interest in terms of the alt trading and the alt volume happening on the website, to the point where really in some instances you have days where alts are taking up what looks to be like 80% of the volume. Now again, this is very anecdotal. It's just 1 month. It's just August. We have to zoom out and probably consider a more macro perspective, but it's an interesting little micro observation, nonetheless, myopic as it may be, because August really was quite an exceptional month. In fact, as the exchange found, so Binance, while Bitcoin's market volume dominance fell, the same for altcoins rose from an astonishing 38% dominance to 68% dominance in August alone. So what does this imply? Well, it suggests that altcoins continue to be very popular and that users are embracing Binance's expanding product range of futures contracts that provide enhanced diversification and better hedging options. And history never quite repeats, but it does often rhyme. So here the comparison is made to 2017, and there are some reasons why we are mirroring 2017. There are other reasons why we're not, but consider this. Speaking of dominance, a cursory glance at Bitcoin's price charts would reveal that the world's largest cryptocurrency market dominance ranged between 35% and 50% during the height of the bull run between December 2017 and January 2018. A year before that, Bitcoin's dominance was as high as 95%. Ergo, it can be concluded that the market's last and only bull run was preceded by the world's largest cryptocurrency's market dominance falling sharply. And as we've been talking about really for weeks, but more like months now, we've been seeing this same trend. Again, dominance, you guys may remember, was as low as 54.5% recently, and it's tumbled all the way down from the mid 60s. So we've seen an even higher, beyond that, depending on the time frame that you consider. So we've seen a pretty steady and telling trend of decreasing Bitcoin dominance with rising altcoin dominance, again pioneered largely by some of those big players in the altcoin space, namely Ethereum, Polkadot, Chainlink, and of course Crypto.com. Let us know your thoughts about this. Is the correlation valid? Can we predict the future with this observation? Does a declining Bitcoin dominance precede an imminent bull run in the future? Let us know, guys, your thoughts in the comments below. Some updates now courtesy of Charles Hoskinson and Cardano. So Hoskinson heralds Gerolamo as competition to IBM's Fabric. In a nutshell here, IOHK is planning to compete with IBM's Fabric with Gerolamo, which will combine a permissioned and permissionless infrastructure for Cardano. The project is intended to become a user acquisition machine, bringing companies and government agencies into the Cardano ecosystem. As Hoskinson explained here, both blockchains Atala and Cardano are interoperable with each other, making it very likely that companies will move to Cardano's permissionless infrastructure over the course of a partnership. Quote, these deals we talk around, for example, the Georgia deal gives us 50,000 new users per year minimum and has the potential to scale to hundreds of thousands, potentially getting into the tourism industry where there are 10 million tourists per year. Continuing, in fact, a lot of cases when we say who's going to run the infrastructure, they say we don't really want to do that. And when you are further along the business relationship, you can say, let's go ahead and run this on permissionless infrastructure. And they say, okay, fine. Regarding the exact timetable, Hoskinson explained that the exact plans are still being developed, but will be implemented in 2021. This is something that we're going to unify in 2021. We are writing a big proposal to continue IOHK's participation in the Cardano ecosystem. And some of this has to do with rolling up all the innovations we came up with that are out of scope for the 2020 agreement. Some of them have to do with emerging next generation technologies like ZK rollups and recursive snarks and all kind of scalability solutions. And some of these have to do with unifying permissioned and permissionless together. Cardano also in the news here with this piece on cryptonewsflash.com. First, decentralized voting to take place as early as October. As early as October, Cardano holders will have the opportunity to decide on the allocation of DC fund resources by decentralized voting. IOHK is planning an aggressive marketing campaign, that's a quote, for the next 2 months to highlight the advantages over direct competitors. Switching gears now, guys, we'd like to highlight the Plutus.it coin known as Pluton. PLO is the ticker. And here's their August update, their quickfire AMA Ask Me Anything with their CEO and new developments. This is from the 20th of August. We want to highlight specifically the fact that they plan to apply for a banking license and the implications here that result from that. There are some interesting considerations here to take a look at. So specifically, banking license plans, that's what we want to dig into here. One of our long-term plans has always been to transition from a finance app to a fully fledged bank so we can offer you all of the traditional and advanced neobanking features, but operate in a way that upholds the integrity and values of the crypto community. A fresh crypto mindset to banking is the future of finance and one we are soon to embark upon. Approximately 70% of the world's adult population owns an account at a bank or mobile money provider, which equates to 3.8 billion individuals. Meanwhile, the cryptocurrency market still remains incredibly small in comparison, with about 15 million blockchain wallets in total, according to reports from Statista. And Plutus is the only company to provide both fiat on and off ramps and at the same time the ability to attach any crypto wallet to your account. Although it's already an achievement and a rare feature, with a banking license we can truly harness the imagination of the complete crypto audience, and we plan to initiate the lengthy operational process soon. These will allow us to greatly reduce some of the finer incurred costs, for example, card insurance and various types of transaction fees for both ourselves and the end user. We currently pay for these smaller operational costs so that you don't have to. So a pretty good development there as far as that banking license acquisition. There's nothing really to say more than that at the moment. It seems to be highlighted as a goal of the team or an ambition, but keep an eye on Pluton. Again, ticker is PLU, Plutus.it coin. And we have very good reason to be excited about Plutus because they're offering a new range of affiliate partnerships with brands that you likely already know, you likely already use on a regular basis. Here also on medium.com, new arrivals to Plutus perks. This is the August update going back to the 31st of August of this year, so about a week or so ago. Earn more than 15% crypto cashback with featured brands such as Ralph Lauren, Vodafone, Sky, Logitech, Lenovo, Geekbuy, Zavi, Wilco, Amazon, and AliExpress. Going back down to some of the, by the way, these are all the different perks and the levels that you can take a look at that you can avail yourself of. But some of the partnerships that are already in place and some of them that are arriving soon, brands include Ralph Lauren, Sky, Vodafone, Lenovo, Logitech, AliExpress, Amazon and others are coming soon. And again, with all of these, if you already interact with them on a daily basis, there are cashback incentives that will hopefully motivate you to use your features associated with Plutus when interacting with them. And I mentioned this in the context of another project that we were discussing last week. I think that this is how you go about mass adoption. This is how you go about basically gaining traction in the space, adding credibility, adding legitimacy. Very much it's about getting people to interact with those brands that they interact with on a daily basis, but add in that crypto dimension to it, add those incentives, add in those perks so that they have a reason to adopt some of these new technologies and some of these new features. And thus the seamless integration is something that is natural and organic. So check out this report in full, guys. Again, new arrivals to Plutus perks. This is from the 31st of August. And finally for today, we're out of time, but I just wanted to mention this in passing. KoinFox is a new project that is launching a DeFi out of India. You can check it out here on CoinCrunch.in. A miner, an author set out to improve DeFi from India. This article from a couple of days ago, the 6th of September, 2020. Take a look at that, guys. We'll link to it in the description below. But that about wraps it up for today, everybody. Do be sure you're following us, number one, on all the regular social media channels. Number two, keep checking back into altcoinbuzz.io for all the latest. Number three, go ahead, like, subscribe, share, and hit the bell to receive notifications, but only if you guys enjoyed today's video. Best of luck if you choose to invest on this Tuesday, the 8th of September, 2020. If you're going back to work today, maybe you're going back to school, I wish you a good return and a good start to your week. Stay safe as always, and as always, we do hope to see you again soon in our next video. Take care.